Okay. Okay, let's go. So as I was mentioning, as I was talking to Gustav, this is actually the first time I tried the live option on school. So I'm kind of discovering the settings at the same time. And this might not be the best time of the day to do this because I think most people on the platform are in Canada and maybe it's still early morning for them, but there will be a recording available afterwards. So, okay, I made a quick presentation actually. And I think, okay, the first point of the presentation is to is to say Merry Christmas to everyone again. And yeah, I think if I understand the settings correctly, I think it's possible for people to write comments. Like if someone is watching live, like they can write a comment, and yeah, I can read the comments at the same time. But with the current settings, by default, people cannot speak or turn on their camera, except for Gustav, of course. Okay. So there was a quick, like just a few things I wanted to review and then eventually answer some questions. The main question that I wanted to answer, we will discuss afterwards, but it was how long does it take to reach B2 level? So after wishing everyone on the platform a Merry Christmas, the quick information of today is that we started to upload the A2 course on the platform. So the first unit was uploaded today, like anyone can access it now. And this is the upload planning, like this is what we plan to do this year. So the main idea is basically to upload the A2 course in the first half of the year, so from January to June, and then in the second half of the year to upload the new, more advanced B1, B2 course. So there is currently already the full A2 and the full B1 course, but hopefully by the end of the year, there will all like everything will be rebuilt, remastered completely. And this is linked to an example of planning that I wanted to share for 2026 in prevision for a lot of students that I know from experience in January will want to start learning very seriously, kind of with the good resolution, the new year resolution kind of thing. I know in January a lot of people really start with the idea like, okay, no, I will study every day and everything. So I just wanted to show you an example of how you can organize the year for someone starting at the beginning of the year and who would want to see kind of the most efficient way to organize the idea of covering all the levels in 2026. Eventually, because I know this is the case for a lot of people, uh, with keeping in mind the idea of going for B2 level at the end, because I know a lot of people are studying for a TEF or TCF exam. So the basic idea is that there are in total 34 units in the courses on the platform. This is true for the courses that are already uploaded, but it's also true for the new ones that will be uploaded. So if you do everything A1, A2, and B1, you have a total of 34 units. And in the year, there are 52 weeks, right? So if you just do a quick calculation, you can cover everything from January to December by doing 3 units per month. Like that's the idea. So if you're just looking for a rough guideline, like realistic but ambitious at the same time on covering everything, then this is what it looks like to start in January with the A1 course and end in December with the end of the B1 course. So just like this, you're doing every month 3 units, right? You can pause afterwards and watch it more precisely if you want. And the math doesn't add up exactly. So the last month you actually have only 1 unit. So anytime during the year you can have some kind of time off. Okay. So this, like I said, this is just like a rough guideline you can look at if someone is interested in like doing everything in 1 year. Uh, I have to mention again that this planning is just like it's just about doing the course, right? But at the same time, for it to work, you have to do the homeworks, to do the writing exercises, to have like a regular speaking practice. And then after finishing, like this is usually what I recommend, is to start by actually learning French. And then when you get to a confident level, then you can go all in on exam prep. But I don't think it's a good strategy to start with exam prep right away. Like you should just learn the language first and then go on exam prep. About the speaking practice, so this year, recently, I think like last month or 2 months ago, we kind of updated completely the practice speaking module. So this is like just to remind everyone that there's a complete guideline on all the ways you have to practice speaking. And I know I've been repeating this again and again, like a billion times in the course, but this is like super mandatory for your learning if you are eventually planning to learn seriously and to go to an advanced level in the future. And we are actually still onboarding the January group classes because we kind of launched new groups. This is not me handling this. This is Gustave, so the French teacher and administrator of the platform. So here you can see, like, I don't. My point here is not to review all the schedule and all the groups and everything, unless you have specific questions about this. But in the speaking module, in the private classes, you can see all the new groups, all the new schedule. Okay. This start in January 19th. Okay, like this is the first day of the classes. And again, I think I put this one here because I wanted to say that, oh yeah, it was because we wanted to say that we actually saw like really, really great progress from the students who were already having classes on the platform this year. Like we had our first onboarding in September, then we had another one for one more group in October, and like the progress from students who are actually doing private classes alongside with the course, so following the structure of the course but having like a dedicated speaking practice in a group at the same time, the progress is like really, really, really better than as compared to the student who don't have this kind of regular speaking practice. Obviously this is what you would expect from this, right? Okay. Then some questions from students. So like the by far the main question that I get all the time, 99% of the time, is how long does it take to reach B2 level? And usually the student who ask this question, what they really mean is how long does it take to reach CLB 7 level because they want to take TCF or TEF exam, usually to have a PR in Canada. Another form of the question that I get a lot is, can I reach B2 level in 1 year? Like a lot of students, they will contact me, they will tell me, for example, my work permit, like I currently live in Canada, my work permit expires in X months or 1 year or 1 year and a half, something like this. Can I reach B2 level before this so I can apply for PR? So there's already in the TEF training on the platform, there's like a full review on this, on like a full video on why, like a full explanation of why do I think it takes the time that it takes to reach CLB 7 or B2. So I don't plan to speak for 15 minutes on like how long you need to take here. But basically, what you really need to understand for this kind of people is that B2 level is really advanced. If you look at this tab here, which is comparing the TEF exam score with the A1, A2, B1, B2 classification. So what most people need for PR is the level 7 here, which actually fits, like it's matching with like kind of halfway B2 level. So this is like super advanced. For example, in terms of speaking, this is like to be fluent in speaking basically. And this is what I say, and I say every time, that you should like to practice for the exam and to take the exam, even if this is your main objective at the end of the day, this should not be your main focus at the beginning of the journey. You should only focus on learn French in the best and most comprehensive way possible. And then once you reach a level where you feel comfortable, for example, roughly speaking, a level where you can kind of have like a natural conversation without it being difficult, then you can move on to like keeping learning the language, of course, but then you can move on to at the same time studying for exam more precisely. Okay. Like you need to speak French to take the exam, and you need to take the exam to have the PR, but you shouldn't try to go from exam to PR without like having a solid foundation in what helps you taking the exam. You know what I mean? Like don't try to go from exam to PR while forgetting that before exam there is the learning French part. Okay. Then we actually had a question from a student about keyboard and accent, and that's actually a question that I heard a lot. So just long story short, the settings are so different from one computer to another than for anyone having trouble with accent on keyboard. The best suggestion I can give, honestly, is to ask like ChatGPT or DeepSeek if you're in China, and to say exactly, I'm using a PC laptop with a QWERTY keyboard without like the number pad on the right. What's the exact combination I have to do to get this accent? Like that's the easiest way you can do, because every computer has different settings. The other thing you can do is go on a website like this. I think you can see. If you just write virtual French keyboard on Google, you have a lot of websites like this where you can just write accents and then copy them and use them like this. Okay. This is not really useful, I think, for most people, but this is interesting for people who are specifically studying for exam, because you know that when you take TEF exam, for example, the whole exam is on computer actually. So in the exam, when you take the exam, they give you a virtual keyboard like this. So for students who are specifically in like exam prep mode, then this is a useful practice, like to do the writing with this. Or for people who are already interacting with French people. For example, I know the one of the students who asked this question. He works in a French company, and he sends email to French people. Then it can be useful also to practice like this. Okay, and that's it. I think we have reviewed